Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTube citizens. Hey, I wanted to make a video just to thank all of the Christians that were so kind to me during this time with the breakdown of my marriage. I just want to thank them. I just got off the phone with a sweet lady. I won't say her name, but a sweet lady that have been kind to me. She has been kind. I can tell because during the early time, she was one of the first few people that actually made me a meal, made me a protein shake, I remember, and just was so kind, concerned about even just recently. I remember there was a blizzard. We had a blizzard, and I didn't go shopping. Typical, I mean, I don't know if it's a typical guy thing, but I just got back in town, didn't go shopping, and we didn't have a lot of food, and she actually made food, but I turned it down because I didn't know at the time because we haven't talked in a long time, but she was just reaching out because she was thinking like they probably don't have any food, and I just want to make sure that they got food because they can't go to the store. And I'm like, wow. And so anyway, word got back that that bothered her, and I was very appreciative that she actually told me how she felt about that, and I was able to explain to her my situation that obviously during that time that she made that text me that other people were checking on me, and I didn't know if they were a friend or a foe. And so I just never know, because I just got betrayed so bad that it just makes you paranoid. Who's really for you and who's against you, And so, but this woman is truly for me and for my family and for the restoration and all that stuff. So, but and she showed her love by her acts of kindness. She made a meal, and that takes time. And to make it just for me, she didn't make it for my children. She didn't make it for my wife. She made it for me. I'm the only guy in this house, and so she made it for me. So I'm very appreciative of that. I'm not accustomed to being treated like that, and especially if I'm not paying for it. So I'm very, very, very grateful. And it was not just her, but it was many people. I mean, there was a guy named David Hill, and I will mention him by name, Brother David Hill, who was a Christian himself. Just like me, we went to the same church, and once I started getting out of that Pastor Todd kind of got me to a point. Yah was so gracious to bring David, and actually David tried to reach out, but like I said, there was so many people. By the time he was trying to reach out, I didn't know who I could trust, but he kept on coming. He just kept on calling me. I said, "Okay, well, you want to come over?" And he eventually came over, and he eventually came over, and when he came over, there I was able to show him the things that I was learning. I was able to show him the things that I was learning. Sorry, somebody keeps calling me here, but I was able to show him the things that I was learning, and it was there that he was able to see like, wow, this is biblical. He would ask me some questions. He had some, I think at the time the church that we were going to, Living Hope Church, that helps broken people. I guess they were told not to contact me. That the only form of contact was through texting, but not to meet me in person. So David came anyway. I think he came or may have came out shortly. I don't know the details of that stuff, but he came and actually sat with me and be able to see where I was going with the stuff. So David was so gracious. David would. After that, I think the first night we were up in the Bible to 3 o'clock in the morning, and this dude has to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. And then the next day, he just kept showing up to my house, and he would stay like close to like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and still have to get up early in the morning to go to work. And we used to walk every night and work out or something like that. But even without that, he just came just to check on me. So I just wanted to say thank you to Brother David Hill. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to see him. There's been a change in schedule, or this change, so we don't get to see much of each other anymore. But I just want to just do a shout out to David and say thank you. He was a Christian who actually became a Hebrew Israelite. He was the only one, but then you have other people. I've had 2 pastors help me. Pastor Ray, I can say that. I don't think he was a Christian, but Pastor Ray, 40 minutes out, kept on coming. I mean, he will come anytime I tell him to come and try to help me out in my situation. I have another pastor here locally. I will not say his name just to protect him, but he was very gracious with me. And this guy was actually a fan And he was just honest. He says, "Hey, I just want you to know I was a fan of yours and have an admiration for you on and off the field, and it's an honor that I can be helping you in this capacity. And you know, so it was so genuine, because it's like most pastors, they'll either, I've seen two things: either they'll just be overtly overtly say, "Oh, I don't even care," or whatever. They'll just act like they don't care, or they don't have any admiration, and maybe they don't. I don't know. Or they'll go the other way and just be really mean to you and just kind of rude and say, "Who cares about But this one just had a nice balance. He just said, "Hey, I do," and but I want to look at this from a biblical perspective. I don't care about all that stuff. At the end of the day, I really care about trying to help you, but I just want to let you know I got to check my heart to make sure that I'm not telling you what you want to hear because of my admiration for you, or be overcritical, or I just want to treat you according to what you give me here, and just talk to you. I'm like, it was so mind blowing. I had to call him back. I just never was presented that way, and especially in this area. So that pastor was very gracious. I got another youth pastor who's kind of there even in the pre-leaving, and been really trying to be helpful to the best of his ability. Made me a meal. So just different people inviting me to their house and making me meal, giving me food to bring back so I can have it for later. So there's so many people out there. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being so gracious. As a matter of fact, I want to read something to you. And I know I've been very hard on these YouTube videos. I've been very hard on Christianity in general. And sometimes, I intertwine with Christians because there's a lot of people that's been involved in this that all are Christians. I mean, all of them are Christians. So you'll think maybe from all my videos that all Christians are bad, and all Christians are evil. Well, they are liars. Now, I can tell you why I believe that. In 1 John chapter 3, it says, if you say you know him, you keep not his commandment, then you're a liar. But from that perspective, and it's true, it is a true statement. I was in that same camp too. We are lying to ourselves if we truly think that we're in the truth, and we're not. And so, anyway, one of the things that I ran into was, I want to read this to you here. So this is what Jesus says. He says, and Jesus answered and said, a certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among the thieves, which stripped him of his remnant and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. And by chance there came a certain priest that way, and when he saw him, he passed by the other side. And likewise, a Levite, when he was at the place, and came and looked on him, and passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him, and went to him, and bound his wounds, poured in oil and wine, and set him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and took care of him. And on the morrow, when he departed, took out 2 pence, and gave them to the host, and said unto them, take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will repay thee. Which now of these 3 thinkest thou was a neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? And he said, he that showed mercy on him. And they said, Jesus. Then Jesus said unto them, go and do thou likewise. So anyway, so you had these 2 religious people walking by. They see this guy beaten up, and they looked, and they just kept on walking. I guess they had something better to do. 2 of these people. And then you had a guy who also was busy, but took time. Not only took time to check the guy out, but actually took time and physically wrapped his wounds. Took time to pick him up and put him on his beast. Take him to an inn and says, hey, here's some money. Please take care of this man until I get back from doing some work here, and then I'll come back, and whatever he needs, you just give it to him, and I'll come back and pay whatever it is. I mean, that was the Samaritan that did that. And you would think that the Samaritan wouldn't have done that. And so there are Christians who has been that to me. They saw that I was in distress. They saw that I was in need, and they took the time to either make a meal, to visit with me. I mean, it kind of reminds me what Jesus says, when I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was in prison, you visited me. So I've had Christians do that for me. And I want to acknowledge that here publicly on my YouTube channel. I want to say thank you for all the Christians. You know them. I mentioned some specifically, like David Hill and Tabitha and his whole family and those children, Larry, Ruthie, Serenity. I mean, they were a blessing to me. They came and they spent time with me, and it was good. It was very good when I needed it the most, you know. It was just the perfect timing. And then you have, Pastor Ray here locally, but he's 30 minutes away, and he took the time to come out here when I needed help. You have neighbors whose help made me a meal. You have people invite me to their home. I just told you about a pastor who we don't agree, but he's a biblical scholar, and he was, when he felt like he disagreed, he told me why he disagreed, but he also appreciate my how I handle the scripture. He acknowledged that you handle it not only just, you're not taking verses, you actually handling within the context of the scripture and the whole thing. So he really appreciate that, and I was using him as a sounding board. Am I being a heretic? Am I saying anything wrong? And he was even honest about saying that a lot of pastors don't want to talk to you because of the fact that they're not confident about what they think about the scripture, and because they're not confident about the word, that's why they're not talking to you. And he felt very confident about the scripture, and so that's why we had that conversation. So, and there was other people, that I met with, headmasters and stuff like that we met with them, from time to time, and people that try to help out. So I don't want to say all Christians are like bad and did me wrong. Not all of them. And so I just want to make sure that I let it be known. I'm going to give honor where honor is due, and there were people that were very kind, who actually helped me to meet physical needs. So I just want to say thank you. But I do also want to, and one of the things I pray for those who've been a blessing to me, I always pray that Yah will bless them back, tenfold, because of how gracious they were to try to help me. That's my prayer for them. And so one of the things that I want to say is that even though these people have been so kind to me, I am still going to talk very harsh about Christianity, because I believe Christianity is not biblical. I'm not talking about sincere people who are trying to follow Jesus Christ, people who are trying to live out this word to the best of their ability. I was a Christian for 17 years. 17 years I was a Christian. And I've always read that book, and I try to obey that book to the best of my ability, and that's what I'm still doing today. And so the Bible is what took me out of Christianity, and this issue that happened to me actually exposed the doctrine of Christianity and how wicked it is. But I do understand, just like I was deceived, there are many Christians out there that are deceived, and so doesn't mean that they're all mean people, because I know I would have tried to help somebody going through the situation, even though I didn't know what I know today. And so there are people who are trying to do that, and so my heart goes out to these people. And so one of the things that I want to do is I want to be able to be able to give back what they have given to me. So one of the things is that I just truly believe that if you say you know him and you're not keeping his commandment, the 1 John chapter 3 makes it very clear that you're a liar and the truth is not in you. And that those who keep his commandments, the way you know that you know him, if you keep his commandments, that's how you know that you know him, if you keep his commandments. And so I am going to always continue to preach that until the scripture thing. Jesus said, I didn't come to abolish the law, I came to fulfill it. And so I may be harsh when I say certain things, but I am not attacking you. I'm attacking Christianity. I'm attacking the doctrine that you believe in. That's what I'm attacking. So when you hear me speaking about Christianity, I may catch it, I may not catch it, but I am talking about Christianity. I'm not talking about the individual person who's sincerely looking. If anything, I hope you'll look at it and say, okay, let me look into what Kabir is saying. Please check my work. I'm not, maybe I'm saying something wrong. So check my work. Call me out on it. And let's see what the scripture have to say. Let's see what the Bible has to say. So anyway, I just really wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being a good neighbor. Thank you for being a good neighbor. And just like the Samaritan, you would never think a Samaritan would do the right thing. And in this case, there were some Christians who did the right thing, and actually took the time to be a good neighbor. So I want to end on that note, and I hope that you guys accept my gratitude for you being so kind and gracious to me. And I hope that Yah will be so gracious to open up your understanding. And if you ever need a place to, if you feeling the Yah is calling you out and you need a place, you're welcome here at Straightway Truth Green Bay. And I would love to share more on what Yah is doing. Pastor Dow has I've extended his time to come up here and answer anybody's questions. That if you have questions, bring it, and let's see what the Bible has to say about those things. I had questions when I found out. I'm like, man, I can't believe this. Oh my goodness. I mean, it can get you mad sometimes. Like, man, I've been lied to, just like some people find that Santa Claus is not real, and so, but like I said, I'm here. I'm going to always be about sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ, the true gospel. And if anyone has questions, please reach out to me. I would love to try to answer those questions based off of the Bible. Like I said, if there's enough of you guys, I can bring Pastor Dal out here, and he would be more than happy to try to help to answer these people, because he's been doing it longer than I have. I've been reading the Bible, but I haven't been practicing all of the stuff that the Bible commands us to do the way Pastor Dow has. He is living it out, and that's what inspires me. So anyway, I'm following Pastor Dow as he followed Christ. That's what I'm doing. I'm not following him in the sense of worshiping Pastor Dow. Even Paul said, what did Paul say? He says, be imitators of me as I imitate Christ. So follow me as I follow Christ. And that's all I'm doing. And there's nothing wrong with that. And once again, you can Bible that as well. So anyway, thank you. And may Yah bless you. Shalom, shalom.